Today, I want to talk about taxes. Not the type we pay to Uncle Sam, but rather the deaf, blind, and hard of hearing tax. This includes the financial burden, emotional impact, and time spent advocating for our rights when encountering systemic barriers and inaccessible environments. These taxes have a huge emotional and mental impact on our community. These taxes parallel with the disability tax as well as the minority tax. These taxes impact deaf, blind, and hard of hearing individuals in many different aspects of life, including as employees, students, customers, and patients. I'm going to share some examples of how these taxes manifest for members of our community. Suppose I'm at work and I receive a calendar invite for a meeting. The first thought that often appears is whether an interpreter has been scheduled or not. Upon checking if none has been scheduled, I have to start the process of requesting an interpreter. However, for many of us, we're not in a position of authority to request our own interpreters. As a result, we have to ask the manager to submit a request, and so forth. That's only time away from my everyday work that I have to spend. But that's not all. If I don't receive confirmation an interpreter has been secured, I have to follow up to get this information, as well as the name of the interpreter. Again, this is extra time I have to spend outside of my everyday work. It's not as simple as just showing up for a meeting. Another workplace-related example is when HR sends out mandatory training videos for us to watch. The challenge is when these videos are not accessible due to the lack of caption. This means I have to spend time following up with the appropriate individuals to notify them that the training is not accessible and that I cannot complete it. These are additional burdens that are simply added to my workload because of who I am. There's also the financial element to consider. There are multiple biases and stigmas out there. Oftentimes, people ask if we can even do the job because of who we are. Occasionally, we're also perceived as being expensive employees. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm an employee making $25 an hour. Because I need an interpreter for meetings and other important functions, hypothetically, my hourly rate would significantly increase by, let's say, $75 to $100 total, and would essentially make me much more expensive than the next person who did not need accommodations. These comparisons happen often and impacts one's ability to be hired as well as opportunities to be promoted. Alternatively, here's a scenario where we experience the financial impact directly. These are my hearing aids. They're 7 years old. Hearing aids are expensive. They're not cheap. $3,500 each for a total of $7,000 for a pair of hearing aids. It's way overdue to replace my hearing aids. However, I've been forced to make do with hearing aids that are not truly fully functional. The reason being is that my insurance doesn't cover hearing aids. That means I need to pay $7,000 to get new hearing aids. Not only that, there's the costs associated with hearing aid batteries, office visits with the audiologist, and repairs for hearing aids that are no longer covered by warranty. I have to pay separately for each one of these. The costs add up, and they add up quickly. That's a huge financial burden. The question now becomes whether employers are negotiating with insurance companies to require hearing aid coverage or not. That's a huge opportunity right there. Often, cochlear implants are covered, but not hearing aids. While we can discuss the reasons behind this, it's important to recognize the disparate impact on us. Overall, the taxes I've shared with you impact us emotionally and mentally. These add to the emotional and mental trauma many of us already encountered over the years, including the lack of communication access at home and the lack of access to society. At 2SN, we believe it's time for change. It's time for the world to be more knowledgeable of the different challenges and burdens that members of our community encounter, as well as how they can proactively respond to our needs. We shouldn't have to continuously advocate for basic access while encountering numerous disparate experiences. That's why we've launched this campaign. Hashtag the DDBHH tax, also known as the Deaf, Blind, and Hard of Hearing Tax Campaign. The goals behind this campaign are for our community to share our stories and help others understand the impact of our experiences, as well as identify opportunities for us to collaborate and make sure this world is more accessible, inclusive, and equitable. Thank you.